Hello, my friends. There is a moment every man feels but never admits. That cold sting when you realize she never, ever reaches out first. And in that split second, something inside you tightens. Your chest, your pride, your sense of worth. Because no matter how confident you try to look on the outside, you can't escape that quiet question tearing through your mind. If I stopped texting her, would she even notice I'm gone? I'm going to tell you something most men never hear from a woman, especially not a female psychologist. When a woman never initiates contact, it's not random, it's not an accident, and it's rarely because she's too busy. Women are emotional communicators. If you matter, they show it. If they want you, they reach. If they feel connected, they respond instinctively. So when she doesn't, the silence means something. And I'm here to decode exactly what it means and what your next move should be, without anger, manipulation, games, or losing your self-respect. Because here's the truth you were never taught. A woman's lack of initiation doesn't necessarily mean she doesn't like you. Sometimes it means she's testing stability. Sometimes it means she's unsure of your emotional leadership. Sometimes it means she feels safe only when you move first. And sometimes it means she's quietly checking whether she can take you for granted. The problem is, most men react the wrong way. You think the solution is to try harder, text more, chase more, show her you care. But the more energy you pour into someone who gives you almost nothing back, the more she unconsciously devalues you. It's not cruelty, it's psychology. Humans undervalue whatever requires no effort to receive. So what should you actually do? You don't ghost her. You don't confront her. You don't beg for attention. You don't play childish mind games. You shift the emotional dynamic, quietly, powerfully, without saying a single dramatic word. You stop initiating for a moment, not to punish her, but to reset the imbalance. You create a small space where she has to decide, do I reach for him or do I just let him fade? This is the moment her true behavior comes out. A woman who cares will feel your absence. She'll wonder where you are, and she'll reach out. Not because you manipulated her, but because you stopped overwatering something that wasn't giving you anything back. But a woman who only liked your attention, a woman who enjoyed being chased, a woman who used your consistency as emotional entertainment, she'll simply drift. Which is painful, yes, but it's also clarity, and clarity liberates you. There's something men rarely understand about a woman who never initiates. Her silence is not empty. It has a pattern, a psychology, and a purpose, whether she's aware of it or not. And if you don't understand that purpose, you'll react emotionally instead of intelligently. You'll chase when you shouldn't. You'll panic when you should stay still. You'll try to fix something that isn't yours to fix. Here's the truth very few women will ever tell you. A woman pays attention to how you respond to her inconsistency, not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. She wants to know your center. She wants to know if your emotional world collapses the moment she becomes less available. She wants to know if your confidence is real or just a mask you wear when everything goes your way. When she never calls or texts first, she's observing the version of you that shows up in uncertainty. The version of you that doesn't have control. The version of you that either grows stronger or falls apart. And this is where most men fail. You start overthinking. You start proving. You start chasing validation disguised as connection. And without realizing it, you become emotionally inexpensive. Not because you aren't valuable as a man, but because you're giving away your emotional energy without any requirement of reciprocity. When there is no exchange, the attraction quietly suffocates. Not loudly, not instantly, but slowly, one unbalanced interaction at a time. So what do strong men do differently? They create emotional gravity instead of pressure. Meaning, you don't demand her attention, you inspire it. When she doesn't initiate, you don't fill the silence with anxious effort. You fill it with grounded presence. You continue your life, your purpose, your discipline. You don't rush to fill the gap. You simply allow it to exist. And that gap becomes the very thing that reveals her real level of interest. Women don't chase distance. They chase emotional value. And your value is never higher than when you're unattached to outcome, but deeply attached to self-respect. If she likes you, even a little, she will feel your absence like a pull. Her curiosity will activate. Her mind will wander. Her emotions will nudge her. She'll think, Why hasn't he reached out? Did I misread him? Is he losing interest? And that moment right there is where a woman decides if she wants to come toward you. But this only happens when you stop trying to convince someone to choose you. A man who doesn't need to chase is a man women move toward. There comes a moment in every man's life where he has to decide what version of himself he's going to be. The man who waits for women to choose him, or the man women choose because of who he already is. And that moment often appears in the smallest, quietest test, when she never reaches out first. Most men treat this as rejection. They see it as a threat to their worth. They assume they need to work harder, text faster, initiate more, and prove themselves. But a woman's lack of initiation isn't a command for you to chase. It's a mirror showing you exactly what part of yourself needs evolution. And the truth is, most men don't have a strategy for what to do when a woman stops putting in effort. They only have emotional reactions. Here's what you must understand at a psychological level. A woman bonds through pursuit too. Not just being pursued, pursuit itself. Humans value what they invest energy into. That's a fundamental rule of behavioral psychology. When she never invests in you, no calls, no texts, no little moments of initiative, you become emotionally cost-free. And what costs nothing is rarely treasured. So what's the solution? Not withdrawal out of anger, not silence out of bitterness, not games. Those are reactions born from insecurity. What you need is a reset that shifts the dynamic without distorting your integrity. And that reset begins with one thing. You create a life that does not pause for her inconsistency. Instead of staring at your phone, wondering why she hasn't reached out, you redirect your attention back to your mission, back to your goals, back to the version of you that existed long before she showed up. When you do this, you're not pretending to be busy, you're actually living. And that shift changes everything. Because when a man returns his focus to himself, a woman feels it. She senses the emotional gap. She notices the reduction in pursuit. Not because you're withholding, but because you're not overgiving. And for the first time, she has to decide whether she wants to be part of your world or just a spectator of it. If she's genuinely interested, this is when she'll step forward. She'll send the first text. She'll check in. She'll reach out, maybe awkwardly, maybe subtly, but she will reach. Because a woman who feels your energy shift doesn't want to lose her access to it. Your absence creates clarity inside her heart. But if she doesn't move toward you, that's clarity too. Painful clarity, yes. But truth is better than wasting months or years chasing someone who keeps you in emotional limbo. There is a shift that happens inside a man the moment he stops chasing the wrong attention and starts attracting the right energy. It's subtle at first, almost quiet, but it changes everything about the way women respond to him. And it begins the moment you choose not to overinvest in someone who won't even send the first text. See, when a woman never initiates, most men think the problem is her. But the real transformation begins when you recognize that her behavior is simply information. It's data, it's feedback, it's a signal telling you exactly where to place your emotional energy and where to stop placing it. And the most powerful thing you can do as a man is honor that information without taking it personally. Because once you stop interpreting her inconsistency as a reflection of your worth, you instantly become stronger, calmer, and more attractive. Women feel that shift. They can sense when a man's validation is no longer up for grabs. When you stop chasing, you don't become cold, you become centered. When you stop initiating every conversation, you don't become distant, you become selective. When you stop overgiving, you don't become selfish, you become balanced. And balance is magnetic. This is what most men don't realize. A woman's attraction is rarely about what you say. It's about the emotional experience she feels around you. A man who is grounded creates safety. A man who is purposeful creates curiosity. A man who is self-respecting creates desire. And you cannot embody any of that while you're anxiously waiting for someone to text you back. So, here is what you do when she never calls or texts first. You live in a way that makes her silence irrelevant. You invest in your mind, your body, your mission, your friendships, your discipline, your peace. Because when a man builds a life he's proud of, something incredible happens. Women begin initiating. Women begin reaching out. Women begin showing effort, not because you demanded it, but because you became the kind of man whose presence is worth investing in. And if she still doesn't step toward you, you let her go with grace, not anger, not resentment, not bitterness. Because losing someone who never chose you is not a loss, it's protection. Remember this, you don't need every woman to value you. You only need the right woman to recognize you, and she will, the moment you stop chasing the wrong one. Now I want you to be brutally honest. Answer this in the comments. What's one thing you're going to do differently after hearing this? If this message opened your eyes, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who desperately needs to hear this truth today.